people tuning in from all over. We got people from Minnesota, Massachusetts, Southern California. We got Michigan, Chicagoland, Arlington, Virginia. Wait, David, you're in Arlington? I'm in Alexandria. That's crazy. We're gonna have to meet up at some point. We got Salt Lake City, your hometown. We got people from Halifax, Canada. We got people from Berkeley. We got Iowa, Boston, Pennsylvania, Houston, Boise. Oh man, we got people from all over, all over. Cool. Oh man, we got people coming in, hoping to learn how to better cultivate community, how to find my niche. Ooh, that's a big one. Figuring out if this will work for my business. Surprise, it definitely will. How to convert tribe to sales. Love that piece. Rich, how to choose from several tribes. Nice. Carolyn, so pumped. Let's go, us too. Ashburn, Virginia. What? So close. Dude, for sure. Once quarantine is over, absolutely. Once we get out of this. How to grow a tribe online outside of my current patients. Man, what type of things to post on social media and which social venues are the best for connecting to a PT telehealth practice? Nice question. All right, we're gonna have to go through, man, Christine's on here. Just, oh my gosh, we got people rolling in. Alex, this is gonna be crazy. I gotta hit record. Oh, we are recording. Thank goodness, the amount of times that I have started something and not hit record. Whew. All right, cool. Can everyone hear Alex okay? Alex, I lost you for a second. This is one of our favorite.
We'll work from this microphone for a little bit and then figure it out, y'all. It happens. It happens. Sometimes it always happens. Look, we're getting rid of that. Okay. Just tell me yes if you can hear me in the comment below. Just put yes. Hopefully Will can hear me. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Okay, so Will and I are really, really excited about tonight for a couple reasons. Number one, because what we're going to share with you tonight has literally been life-changing for Will and I don't use that lightly. But number two, because it's been life-changing now for a bunch of other people. And usually when Will and I teach, we're teaching about our story, which we'll share a little bit of it about tonight, because I know that there's some of you on here who don't know us. But we're going to be sharing stories from people who we've helped, who have just done incredible things. And we want to show you tonight that you becoming somebody worth following, creating an impact for the rest of the world is possible. And you can do it in a way that doesn't require a bunch of tech. It doesn't require you to be a quote unquote expert that you might be thinking you need to be. And ultimately, it doesn't require that you have to be you have to feel like, oh, I am the person who has to be doing this thing. And like, if you have this inkling of there's something more in my life, if you've ever had the feeling of, man, I feel like there's something inside of me. If you have felt like, I have something that I know could help people, I want you right now to just put me in the comments. If you've ever felt that about yourself, if you feel like, man, I have something inside and I just know that I need to get it out to people. Maybe you're not sure quite how. Oh my goodness, look at y'all. Yeah, me. Beautiful. Well, then tonight is for you. Will, can I start slides, man? Are we good to jump in?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of busy. I don't know if tonight would be
okay.
No, let's do it. Come on, we gotta do it. We gotta give the people what they want.
But by the way, I think we should give expectations for tonight. In the past, Will and I have done live streams like this, live trainings that have lasted over 4 hours. Anyone been on the 4-hour trainings before? I'm super curious. Tonight, our pledge to you, we're going to try to get it done in an hour, start to finish. We'll see how that goes. But our pledge is that over the next hour, you are going to get a ridiculous amount of belief in yourself. Hopefully you get pumped up about what it is that you can create for others as you give yourself permission to create impact. And tonight, what we're going to share here, let's just dive into it. We're going to share, we're going to share how to grow a hyper-engaged community of people who are ultimately excited to pay you for your expertise. I want you to imagine for just a minute what that's going to feel like when you have a group of people who you might be starting to see some things like this. You might be starting to see some things like Dustin over here, who had his group blow up with one strategy, added 150 people to a Facebook group that he runs in 24 hours because of one strategy. He actually went on, we'll talk about what he did after the fact. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Y'all stay tuned. I just got final numbers in from him too today. What would it feel like if you were just opening up your group for the very first time, and someone like Carissa here over to the right, and opened up a Facebook group, had 300 members in 6 days? Imagine you sitting in front of a room of 300 people. What that would feel like to be able to stand up to the microphone and confidently open up to the world the gift that you have that you can offer to them, to really start impacting them. Maybe you want to be like Mary here, who said, as she got into this, she realized that she loved serving her ideal audience. Or Michelle, who said, this has been way more exciting than I imagined, 24 hours into launching her impact online, launching her group, which is ultimately what we're going to talk about tonight. My question is, would you want help growing an audience online like this of hyper engaged followers? That's what we do for people. And at the end, we're going to give people an opportunity to work with us to be able to get help doing this. And if you don't choose to work with us, it's totally fine. We're not going to be offended at all. What we want you to do is to take notes tonight. And those people who are really serious about it, who are like, no, I actually really want to do this, I'm serious about it, we're going to have an offer. It's actually the lowest price we've ever put anything out on a training like this before, which is super exciting. But it's something that we're going to walk through. How do you do this? We're going to give you the tactics. We're going to give you mindset tonight, but then we're going to give you an opportunity to work step by step with us if this is something that you want. Let's talk about our promise tonight, Will. What is our promise?
Our promise is that by the end of this training, you will have the knowledge of how to grow an online group of raving fans that will gladly pay you for your expertise without needing a crazy tech setup. If that's you, if you want to know how to build this group of online raving fans, and I don't mean just like, well, yeah, there's a big bunch of group, 10,000 people going on. I mean people who like actively want to learn from you, that want to grow from you, that want to know how to learn from you and create a community with you, and without having to have fancy landing pages or funnels or crazy, all these email setup stuff. If that would make your life so much better, go ahead and say me. I would love to know in the comments, me. If that's you, if this, by the end of this, if we can deliver this promise for you, that you would feel so much better, just go ahead and comment me. Put in the comments.
Meet the show, says Laura.
Cool. Logan, I know you're building your business right now. This is going to be huge. And I know that you do. I know that you also have your online fitness group. This is going to be massive for what we're going to be talking about.
All right. So let's talk about who we are. A lot of you who are on here already know us, and you're like, I know these guys, Alex. Well, some of you are like, this is the first time I've ever heard of you. You guys are kind of weird. You're both like, are you brothers? Why are you so hype and excited?
Why did
First
Alex
of all,
get the good hair? God.
Why does Will get the great beard? And Alex, like, anyway, we are physical therapists. Actually, we both met when we were just at the very edge of either finishing physical therapy school or had just graduated. And because of that, we had spent a lot of time, I will say, being indoctrinated into a way of thinking that in order to have success in life, you had to move up through this specific ladder and get good grades, and that your expertise was only based on the number of letters after your name, and that your value, in fact, was based off that. And at the end of the day, Will and I are both physical therapists who are, we'll just say we're not standard. Spoiler, neither of us are treating anymore. It's actually been quite a while since either of us have treated patients. I get asked still a lot of questions about physical therapy, and I have to tell them I know lots of great experts who could help you. But at the end of the day, Will and I are dreamers. Will, what do we mean by dreamers here, man?
Yeah, by dreamers, we mean we knew that there's this deep sense, even in physical therapy school. So you got to keep in mind, Alex and I became physical therapists with this intention of we were going to get our doctorate degrees. We were going to be experts in our field. We were going to have people coming to us, and we were going to feel like the end all be all of the orthopedic medical care piece. Like we both wanted to have our own businesses. We wanted to run our own outpatient cash practices. And ultimately we realized partway through school that, wait, in the current system, I am only allowed to impact the amount of people that I see every single day in a physical location. I am tied to having to ask for time off. I am going to have to build up a lot of capital to have a physical brick and mortar practice. And that did not fall in line with our dreams. Our dreams were, we wanted to be on stages speaking with people. We wanted to be reaching out, affecting communities of people that we could work with at once. We didn't fit in. If you feel like you didn't fit in, or you feel like you don't fit in now, Alex, is it safe to say that we were pretty big misfits? Like we thought we were going to be doing, our dream was feeling squished in school.
Oh yeah, I remember the feeling of I had started blogs. I know that we had both started podcasts. We can talk about that. But I remember this feeling of I have these dreams of what I can accomplish, and I want to put myself out there. But it was so weird. And I remember feeling like I talked to my classmates or I talked to friends, even some family, and it was like, "What are you doing? Why are you spending time on that?" It's like, no, I see this bigger vision.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen a bigger vision for yourself than what others see for you right now? Like that's how I felt for so long. And it got to the point where it's like, I need to be putting myself out there and I need to shift from just consuming constantly to producing. And I want to ask you, this is a little bit of like challenge right here. Over the past couple of weeks, things have been crazy. We all know that. How much have you been consuming content versus being a producer? And we all know that at the end of the day, those who have the most impact are those who produce more than they consume. So I want to challenge you tonight to think about, where am I at mindset wise? If I want to have the kind of impact that we're talking about tonight, how do my actions relate to that? And Will and I both have our own kind of individual reasons for being where we're at. But at the end of the day, we both came to the point where we realized that we needed to become producers rather than consumers. And so we're going to be talking about tonight that in order to have impact online, it's pretty simple and it's not nearly as scary as you think it is. You simply have to be one step ahead of one group of people to help them solve one problem. Think about that for a minute. One step ahead of one group of people to help them solve one problem. And we're going to be breaking down tonight a lot of the reasons why you're sitting back here, holding on to your zone of comfort, not stepping into the impact that you should be having, not stepping into the role of leadership that you should be fulfilling, not stepping into your potential, and instead settling for mediocrity. And tonight, we're about overcoming mediocrity. If you don't want to have a status quo life, if you don't want to be among the majority of people who, when some crazy windfall happens, like is happening right now, you don't have $1,000 in your bank account to be able to cover for emergencies. Like, do you want to live that mediocre life? Or do you want to live a life where you're remembered for having an impact on people? Do you want to live a life where people remember you because of your ideas? Do you want to live a life where people follow what you guided them to? Do you want to have a life where ultimately at the end of the day, you're proud of the life that you lived and you don't regret the missed opportunities that you could have taken because you regressed into a comfort zone? That's what we're talking about tonight. It's about stepping forward. It's about leaving mediocrity behind. If you're willing to leave mediocrity, just put right now, I'm leaving. If you're willing to step out of mediocrity in your life and step into your purpose, just put, I'm leaving. Because tonight we're about to show you how we leave mediocrity together by impacting others. Anything here, Will, before we dive in?
No, I think what's really funny for us, because we're getting pumped up, is that I don't even think we put in a slide of where we're at now. And
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Like, people are probably like, wait, so what do you guys do now? Are you physical therapists? Those of you who know us, so we got to fast forward a little bit. It is a few years later now. Alex and I are out of school. We both graduated about 3 years ago. Alex has the luxury of saying he never even had to treat a single patient for someone else as a full-time job. Never had to do it. I worked for a year and a half in a home health clinic right out of school, and it only came out to part-time. And why was that? Well, the crazy thing is, Alex and I had started podcasts, and people started asking us, how do you start podcasts? And then we had to make websites for our podcasts. And then we had to learn how to do Facebook things for our podcasts. How do you get the word out? And people were like, how are you doing this? Now, granted, Alex, did you have an education in Facebook marketing or podcasting or website building or any of these things?
No, dude, I hated Facebook, I'll be honest.
We both do. I like Instagram. It's what I like to use. I don't have a degree in Facebook marketing. I don't have a degree in podcasting. What we did have was we just started. And we were at least 10, if not 20, 30 episodes in, and people knew that we did something. To the point that we would get questions asked to us all the time from other physical therapists, from other healthcare providers, from people outside of those worlds, asking us the same questions over and over again. How do you start a podcast? How do you make a website? How do you actually create an email? Like, how do you send an email to a big group of people and not just one person? All of these things that I knew nothing about 6 months before people were asking me these questions. And the same with Alex. And what we did was, Alex and I started talking. We met through a common group. And what we found out was, dude, I'm answering all these same questions. We're like, yeah, I'm answering them all the time. And we thought, well, what if we just started a group where we could record the videos and we don't have to do this every single time for someone new, and we could just tag people in the group. And that led to our group, Alex, which is
Healthcare digital marketing, which we're about to unveil some news in. But I want to tell you that for us, it went from this feeling of like, hey, I kind of know about these things, to when we opened our Facebook group and we started letting people in and we just started sharing what we were learning. We weren't even saying that we were experts. We were simply saying, hey, this is what I learned this week. Who wants to learn it? And people were like, oh my gosh, I want to learn it. We were literally one step ahead. We were brand new grads. Now, how many of you had ridiculous confidence coming, if you were in grad school or if you finished college or right out of high school, whatever? How many of you felt ridiculous levels of confidence after school? Because I did not. It wasn't like, oh, I'm out of here and I'm king of the world. No, heck no. I just knew that I was one step ahead of the people. I didn't even know that that would be the beginning of what we now have as a business that provides for Will and I full-time. And we now work with 10 other team members, contractors who we're helping provide jobs for. At this point, I had no clue that we would be building any of this. All I knew was that, hey, we're one step ahead of a couple people. Why don't we talk about Facebook ads to them? Why don't we talk about marketing to them? We were moving into a zone of where there were already other experts. How many of you right now have an expertise in mind that you think you would like to be serving on? I want you to just put me right now. If you can think of something that you'd like to be helping people with right now, just put me. Okay, so we got a couple, me. Perfect. Now, as you're thinking of these people that you want to help, how many of you can also immediately think of somebody else who you feel like is better qualified and would just absolutely squash you, and so you shouldn't do anything? If that's you also, just put me. Melissa and exclamation points. Me. Cool. Y'all, we're playing so small because we think that just because there's somebody else who we already see ahead of us, we can't keep moving forward from where we're at, and we don't have value to give to the world. What we're telling you tonight is what Will and I didn't honestly know 3 years ago, is that when we just started talking, when we just started putting ourselves out there, we allowed ourselves to grow something that was far more valuable than authority, and that was community. And tonight we're going to be sharing, how do you build a community? So at this point, fast forwarding to now, we have a community of over 3,000 people online who do listen to us on a daily basis. 3,000 people who see us as someone who, even if they don't see us as experts, at least we're a couple steps ahead of where they're at. And because of that, because of learning how to communicate with a community and lead a community, now we have a business that's brought in over $500,000 in 2 years to be able to support our families and to be able to now hire other people and support their families. And I can't tell you how grateful I am that I just stepped into the realization that there are some people that I can help out there. And I don't care if I'm the world's foremost leading expert yet, but I'm one step ahead of them. There's one group of people, and we solve one problem for them. Now, we've actually solved lots of problems for them, but I'm telling you that it just has to start with one. And tonight,
real quick, Alex, before we dive in, because I know we're going to keep it to an hour, is I do think it's so important here that everyone understands. Do you want to know how we made our first $10,000 online? Like, would you guys like to know how we made this? I want to just show you the power of what we're talking about. If you would like to know, just say yes. I would like to just say yes. I want to share with you how we made our first $10,000 online, because I think this is a great lesson. This isn't to show what Alex and I, money-wise or what's possible. We had a group that I don't even think had 1,000 members in it at this point. I think we maybe even had 500, maybe 600.
Yep, it's 500.
500 at the time. We showed up every single day for weeks, and maybe not every single day, but almost every single day for weeks, just teaching everything that we knew. We taught email marketing. We taught Facebook advertising. I look back now and I laugh at the things I was teaching because, one, it changes. Two, I didn't know, I just know so much more now because I'm in this world. And all we were doing is we were one step ahead in digital marketing of one group of people, which were physical therapists, which is what Alex and I knew. And we were just trying to help them solve that one problem, which was, how do you understand this online world of digital marketing? That was it. All we did was live videos almost every single day, every other day, teaching everything that we knew. We gave away everything that we knew. We didn't ask for any money and had no intention to offer anything for sale. And here's the crazy thing that happened. And this is why community is so powerful. And if there's nothing else that you take away from this, community will set you free. Along with the truth. But community also will set you free. Why is that? We had our group of 500 people. We started to get messages of, hey, could you guys take all these live videos that you're doing? Mind you, they're free in this group, and put them into an online course area and we'll pay you for it. Wait, this is a moment, and this is a moment that hopefully will happen for you if you give and you give and you give and you deliver value to your community and you build community. All we did, I had this moment, I said, wait, you will pay me to organize all the live videos that are already in this group for free. So I said, yes, we would gladly pay you. I feel like I just need a place where it's organized and structured. And so we said, great, well, what do you think that would cost? And I don't know how we decided on it, but it was $97 and we put it up for sale. And we had 100 people buy it. Out of 500 people. Things that they could find for free. And I had to ask myself, why would they do that? And I would love to ask you, why would they do that? Why would someone do that? Why would they pay us for videos that are free? Also, by the way, the things that we were learning and that we were teaching, guess where Alex and I learned them? On YouTube for free. Right? We learned them on YouTube for free. So did we save them time? Yes. Did we help them with convenience? Yes. But why deep down did they want to pay us? Is because we had guided them in this process as a community through trust by showing up consistently. 2, being there for them and answering the questions that they had. Alex, how many private messages do you think you got on with people in that group in that first 6 months?
So many, hundreds of private messages.
This wasn't a look at me, here's the cool thing, we're going to sell it. It was, I am here for you to help guide you in this community. To the point that people felt like we were the ones to guide them through the process. How many of you have patients choosing you as your physical therapist, to be their physical therapist or healthcare provider or whatever that you do, and there are other people who probably have more experience and may even be better at it than you, but they're still choosing you? Has that ever happened to you? If that has happened to you, just comment me. If that has ever happened to you, comment me. And that, me. Every single person saying me. And that is because you built the relationship. And a community is not an online mass of people. It is an online group of people that you build relationships with. And it can change your life. Alex, we are testaments to this changing our lives. It has been absolutely mind-boggling. I want to share that story because this isn't you got to have a perfect offer. How many of you have been, Alex, how often do we get this? I just need to figure out what my product should be. What should my product be, right? Do you have any idea what that product would be?
If you right now have been telling yourself, I have this idea, I have this product, I have this course, I have this thing that I want to make, and you're actively just like the wheels are spinning, and you don't right now have the answer to this question, who's going to buy it from you? Then you need to listen up. Because so many times people are sitting there thinking of the idea, the product. The product is not what will sell. People will tell you what they need, and then we create what they tell us that they want. And how do we get in front of people in the first place to find out what they want? We create a community. And so this is why, as we dive into these different lies that you're telling yourself right now, we want to be really aware that most of the time people are doing this backwards. So the other day, where is it? I don't have it here. The other day, I did a live stream and I used a Rubik's Cube. Did anyone see that? Anyone see the Rubik's Cube? I'm a super nerd, okay? So, okay, thank you, Will, one person. Anyone else see the live stream? Thank you, man. I got to do it again. I messed up the Rubik's Cube at the end, but it still worked out great. But I like it. I liken this to, there's a base, Okay, just like any pyramid, there's a base to creating a business. And while right now what we're talking about tonight is not how do we create a business, it's how do we create the base of that business, which is first and foremost, we got to get in front of people. We have to be able to influence people, impact people. And the lie is you think that you need to be all over the place. First, you think that your idea is going to set you free and that like being able to just like, oh, I come up with the idea and then I sell it. No, that doesn't set you free. Having a group of people, having a community that you lead is what sets you free. But the lie is I need to be omnipresent. How many of you have heard the word omnipresent and just felt dread before? That like I need to be on every platform, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok. Like how many of you have heard that and felt dread before? Just say dread. If you've seen that and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. Heather says dread. Jennifer says dread. D-R-E-A-D. Dread. Guess what?
We should just refer to it as the O word because it just brings up too much stress and anxiety for all of us.
Oh my goodness. Here's the truth. You need one place to build a community first. And in my opinion, after everything that we've done, after everyone that they've coached, a Facebook group is the best place to do that in 2020. The reason that we say this, we've coached hundreds of people at this point through creating online businesses. We actually have a program that is for like how to launch the online business. That's what comes next after creating the foundation that we're talking about tonight. And Will and I looked and we sat down and we said, what are the characteristics of the people that have the most success with launching products? Time and time again, it came back to they had a Facebook group. We have 9 businesses now that we've helped reach the 6-figure mark. 9 businesses from scratch, like absolute scratch to 100,000 plus online. 7 of them have had Facebook groups. The other one, I'd have to go back and see what the other 2 were. One of the other ones has like 60,000 followers on Instagram, and the rest are Facebook groups. And there's one other. I'd have to go back and think where the other one got their stuff from. But like the overwhelming majority of people who are starting from scratch and then getting to that 6-figure mark have had Facebook groups that we've worked with and that we just see over and over and over. It's the best place to grow in 2020. And so if you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, I master Facebook, I master Instagram, I master Pinterest, I master YouTube, I master TikTok, I master Twitter. How am I ever going to have time for that? Instead, we tell you to focus, slap you upside the head a little bit. And we tell you, focus on the one thing that's going to get you the most leverage right now in 2020 moving forward. And that's a Facebook group. So let's talk about this. Well, why Facebook groups, and who is Dustin, and why did this work so well for him?
Yeah, so we want to give you some examples of people who are actually doing this. So Dustin Howard started his Facebook group less than, I think, 6 months ago. Currently has under 300 members in it, right? But he has shown up every single day, pretty much. Almost every single day, doing a live video. He's amazing at this, right? And he shows up and he just teaches everything that he knows about sales. Teaches everything that he knows about sales, and he teaches physical therapists how to sell at a higher group. If you're in Dustin's group, just comment Dustin if you are in Dustin's high ticket physical therapy group. In fact, the coolest thing is that Dustin today had someone post in his Facebook group that by watching one of Dustin's videos, he is on the verge of closing his first $1,500 package, which was well over $500 more than that person had ever previously sold from watching one of Dustin's videos. So Dustin had none of this. Also, Dustin didn't have any, as far as we know, Alex, Dustin never got a physical therapy sales degree, did he?
Nope.
Is not the first person to ever had a business. In fact, a year ago, February of 2019, Dustin made less than $1,000 in his business. This year, February 2020, he made over 20 grand in a month with his mobile concierge practice. Now, do you think Dustin felt like an expert 5 months ago when he started his Facebook group? Probably not. But what's super cool is Dustin does all of this just through his Facebook group. That's it. There's no Instagram, there's no YouTube channel. It is strictly through a Facebook group. And he's got really cool strategies that we've helped him learn on how to grow that Facebook group, and more importantly, how to develop community within that Facebook group.
Yep. I want to talk to you too, as we look at like why a Facebook group. This is one of my favorite examples ever. Liz, are you on here right now? Liz, if you're on here, just say hi in the chat. Liz, you got to say hi if you're on here. If not, I was on a call with Liz earlier today. She's rocking in her business right now. Liz actually had a Facebook group. She had been listening and was like, all right, guys, I have a Facebook group. This is over a year ago. She created a Facebook group, and she had actually gotten it up to 200 members. And there were some strategies that she wasn't using that we teach. She wasn't ultimately building community. She had a group, but she didn't have a community. They're two very different things in how we approach those. So if you're like, yeah, guys, I understand Facebook groups. I'm telling you, there's a big difference between having a group and having a community. And so what Liz did is she decided, you know what? I'm going to scrap this idea of building a Facebook group, like to try to sell this product that she had. And instead she said, what if I just shifted to building community? And now she has a Facebook group, a Facebook community with over 3,000 very niche specific ladies. They're lady mountain bikers, very specific, incredibly engaged. One of the most engaged Facebook groups I've ever seen. In fact, she has the problem now that when she's making posts, there are so many other people posting in her group as well. She's like, guys, how do I keep my posts up at the top? Like, what a great problem to have. But she's also seen as the leader of this group. And because of that, she's been able to ask them, guys, what do you want? And now she launched a membership group where she's actually getting paid over $1,000 a month for a membership, where she's using her physical therapy expertise in a way that is very unique to her specific group. She was able to put out a $19 a month program and be making $1,000 a month. The bigger thing is she has an asset now, as she was talking about, well, guys, I want to make some connections with some mountain biking gear companies. It's like, great. You have one of the most highly engaged audiences on the planet right now in your Facebook group within mountain biking ladies. Like, that is an asset. You can take that to someone and say, hey, I'd love to come interview you in my community. I have a ridiculously engaged community. I have 3,000 ladies who would love to hear about your product. We'd love to get you in for an interview. Now she's able to take that group and she's able to use it to expand the business significantly. Like, it's the core of the business. And now she's able to use it for so many different things because she is impacting a community.
What's really cool, and I think the big thing here with Liz is that Liz started with just a Facebook group. Did she have an Instagram account? Yes. Was she trying to focus on it? Yes. And we said, Liz, you have to focus on just your Facebook group, just this community. Just focus on growing this community of women who are interested in mountain biking. From that, Liz has doubled down on just focusing on this one place. She posts in two areas, her personal profile and her Facebook group. Those are the only two places that she posts. Her content then gets distributed now that she's moved on, in the sense that she's grown her group big enough that she's able to then look at something like Instagram or YouTube. But it is all started from a Facebook group. And why that's so important is Liz doesn't have to sit there and go, well, what do I do for Instagram? What do I do for YouTube? What do I do for all this? It all starts with her community and the group. And the coolest thing is she is able to ask them, what do you want to learn about? What are you interested in right now? What are you struggling with? And if any of you have an Instagram, I'd love to know right now, if you post something like that on Instagram, how many comments do you get? If you were to make a post on Instagram right now or your YouTube channel with a video, it said, hey, what are you interested in right now? Or what do you want to learn? I would love an honest answer. How many comments do you think that you're going to get?
Alicia says none. Chandler says 0. Like 0 to 3, says Laura. 20, says Stephanie. Kelly says 1. Maybe 5, says Mary. Under 10, says Carissa.
I'm going to give you the real answer that we probably don't even want to say, is that it's more often than not less than 1. And there's only one number less than 1. That we're going to get. And most of it is a one-way street. We're not getting engagement on putting in input on things like that. So Liz is able to come up with, she doesn't have to sit there and go, what should I talk about? Her community tells her what it is that she should speak about. What is it that they need, right? And every single time that Liz posted, even when she had under 100, 200 people, would get easily 15, 20, 25, 30 responses from her audience, from her community, telling her exactly what it is that they wanted. And how do you think Liz chose the first product to make for her community? She asked them. And she didn't get one response, two responses, three responses. She got dozens, if not 100+ responses from her community telling her what they wanted more help with. And then when she went to go make her actual product, it was so easy to sell because they'd already told her that's exactly what they wanted. We're not going to get into the business piece, but just started from this Facebook group.
Yep. Let's talk line number 2 here. No one will want to follow me, or this feeling of I'm not an expert. How many of you honestly are feeling this right now? That I'm not worth following, or that I don't have the expertise that I need. How many of you, as you're starting to think about this and get excited, does this thought start to creep in right now? How many of you? Oh boy, me, says Justin. Just put me. If you've been feeling this, honestly, if you've been feeling this thought of like, I'm not worth following yet, or who am I? Who am I to do it? Just put me. I used to think that, says Carolyn. Yes. Carolyn, I'm so proud of you. Right now we got Carolyn doing live streams like crazy. She's out there figuring out like, what is it that people want? She's out there showing up in front of people. I love it. Alicia says, yep. Right. The truth is that you just need to find one group of people that you're 1 to 2 steps ahead of. It's not that complicated. Do you see how simple we make this stuff? When we stop playing in our head and we just start looking, what's the reality of this? The reality is you need one group of people who you're 1 to 2 steps ahead of. Who are you right now? I want you to think about anything that you've accomplished in your life. It doesn't have to be business oriented. It doesn't have to be something that you want to monetize. What is one thing that you've been able to accomplish in your life that you're proud of? I want you to put it in the comment right now. What is one thing? Maybe you trained a cat. Maybe you graduated school. Maybe you can tie your shoe with your eyes closed. Maybe you can solve a Rubik's Cube. What is one thing that you're proud of that you've accomplished in your life before? I just want to see one thing. Grand Canyon rim to rim. Oh, that sounds fun. NCS, accredited in public relations, says Rich. I can solve a Rubik's Cube, says Laura. All right. We've got to have a Rubik's Cube off someday. Started my business, got my DPT, mom of 2. Ooh, that's a big one. Invented a few products, says Lisa. That's so cool. Taught myself how to do WordPress. Oh. Having my daughter when I was 51. How amazing. Oh, heck to the no, says Laura. Okay. All right. No Rubik's Cube offs. Logan says, didn't apply for a job after school. Instead, started my own practice, right? How do you go straight from that to that? I want you to think about all the things that you have done in your life that you've been successful at. Did you spend time learning how to do that thing? Yes or no? Did you spend time trying to figure out how to be successful in that thing? Tons, says Carrie. C, says Stephanie. Suzanne says, yes. Sure. Time. Yes. Guess what? Right now, we're in a very interesting economy where all of a sudden, everyone is realizing that everything that they want to know how to do is online. And especially right now, so many people are spending time online to learn how to do things. And guess what? When there's a mass movement of people who are willing to go spend time online to do something, do you think that they care more about a big, gigantic corporate brand teaching them? Or do you feel like they would rather have someone that they resonate with, who they see themselves in? They're like, oh yeah, they're like me. Who do you think? Do you think they'd rather have a big, giant brand or someone they resonate with? Just put brand or resonate. What do you think? Like, are you going to Coca-Cola to find out your favorite, I don't know, summer drink recipes? Or are you going to a mom blog that you like to follow? Or are you just Googling it and finding what comes up on top? It's resonation. Resonation, is that a word?
We'll make it when it's not.
Resonation, man. We're inventing words here tonight. This is great. You just need to find people that you can resonate with, that you're a little bit ahead of. That's it. And guess what? The closer you are to them, meaning like the more recently you learned how to do a thing or overcame a thing, the more likely they are to want to follow you. The more likely they are to resonate with you if you've just been through a thing. So this idea that I need to be an expert, no one will follow me yet. Heck no. Heck no. You just got to be one step ahead and willing to talk about it. You just have to be one step ahead, willing to open up. You got to be one step ahead and willing to get a little bit vulnerable. You got to be one step ahead and willing to produce instead of just consume. So let's talk about a couple people who have done this. My man, Jeremy Sutton. Do any of you know Jeremy Sutton, the book boss? Just put book boss if you know who Jeremy Sutton is. Put book boss in the comments, because this man, oh yeah, we got book boss coming in. This man is such an incredible example to me of somebody who has said, you know what? I'm 1 to 2 steps ahead of the people I want to serve, and I'm just going to start talking to them. Will, let's talk about Jeremy Sutton.
Yeah. So Jeremy is a physical therapist. He has an incredible story of having a business and just crazy circumstances happening that he had to shut down his business. And he, in that time, as he was having to shut things down, realized he had a passion for getting the word out about what he did. And so he wrote this, he was writing books. He was writing a book on back pain, about neck pain. He even wrote a book with another guy, Mark Green, about, I think it was called Neck Pain Solutions. They were going to build this whole series. And in the process, he didn't know how to publish his own book. And so he had to go through and figure out, like, how do I publish my own book? In the process, he found out there are a lot of other people who are like, I want to write a book. And Jeremy's like, well, I just went through that process. And so what did he do? He started a Facebook group called Healthcare Self-Publishing Academy. And all he did was he taught people what he did in his Facebook group. Now, do you think Jeremy ever got a degree in self-publishing? I just put it in the slide here. He has 0 degrees, 0 degrees in self-publishing. He is not technically a best-selling author. Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as we know, Jeremy's never been on the New York Times bestseller list of, self-publishing. All he's ever done is self-publish his own books, and now he's helped over 10 plus people self-publish their own books, which is absolutely incredible. And Jeremy, if you were to ask Jeremy, you're an expert on self-publishing. What do you think, Alex? Do you think Jeremy's going to go, yes, I am the expert?
Dude's too humble for that. but he knows how to do it. He accomplished a thing, and then he was willing and able to just talk about, hey, here's how I did this. And guess what? By showing up consistently and producing rather than just consuming. I mean, Jeremy could have sat back and just listened to podcasts all day. He could have sat back and just watched YouTube all day. He could have sat back and watched Netflix all day. Instead, he decided to shift into becoming a producer so that he could be in charge of his life, have options for his family, and ultimately lead a community now of 800 book bosses who are out there creating their own books. So now he's just helped. I think he's about to help. I think it's like his 12th and 13th publish their books. He's helping dozens more right now in the process of writing their books. And I know that you guys have seen them. And even more importantly, he's creating a community where people believe that simply because they have the knowledge in their head, they can be an author. He's putting the belief into people that they can do something that they never would have given themselves permission to do a couple years ago. I want to know right now, how many of you have considered writing a book? Like seriously considered writing the book? Just put book. How many of you have seriously considered writing a book in the past like 6 months?
Alex,
what's that? I know. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. Look at all these book, audiobook, right? Jeremy is creating a community and creating a culture where within his sphere of influence, it's normal to publish books. It's normal to put yourself out there. And now he's having the impact on these people who have written books and those who will write them. And they're impacting hundreds and thousands of people because Jeremy said, it's okay. I don't have degrees in self-publishing. It's okay. I'm 1 to 2 steps ahead of the people that I want to help. I've done something worth doing and other people want to do the same thing. I'll start talking about it.
I want to real quick on that note, something really interesting. Why focus Facebook groups? Why do we teach this? So for example, Jeremy, I'd have to pull it up, but Jeremy has more followers on Instagram than he has members in his Facebook group. Do me a favor sometime in the next week. Go find out how many comments Jeremy gets on his posts on Instagram. Go find out how many people are watching his stories. Go find out how many people are asking him questions directly and looking for feedback on his Instagram, where he has more followers than he has in a Facebook group. Jeremy will be happy to tell you, because we work with Jeremy, that he gets almost on Instagram. He makes the same post in his Facebook group and he gets 10, 15, 20, 30 comments from people. Feedback on how to improve. What are the people struggling with? He makes a poll and he gets 50, 60, 70 responses in his Facebook group. That's why we focus on this. If you look at why this is so important, if I can pull this up on my Facebook, you will be able to see that Facebook itself has invested so much in Facebook groups that they've dedicated the middle tab of the app to just your Facebook groups. Also, real quick, if you've seen an ad from Facebook in the last year, Have you seen any ad from Facebook that did not involve a Facebook group? Yes or no? Have you seen an ad from Facebook that did not involve featuring a Facebook group? Yes or no?
I've seen them pop up.
I have not seen a single ad from Facebook itself in the last year that has not promoted a Facebook group. That is the only thing that they are advertising on TV, on their own platform, on Instagram, on YouTube. Facebook advertises everywhere. And the only thing that they advertise, ding, 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 Facebook groups. Look, start watching. See if they advertise anything else. There is one place that they want your attention, and it is Facebook groups.
I think that Joseph and Casey are such a good example of leveraging this Facebook group thing, being in the middle of the thing that they were doing when they started their Facebook group. So they help pre-physical therapy students get into PT school. They were still in PT school when they started this thing. They did not have to be the world's foremost leading expert on PT entrance exams and on interviews and on landing, landing spots. They had just done it themselves recently. And if you see a theme here, all we're noticing is people are taking something that they've done and they're talking about it to others in a simple way. Like, how easy is that? You don't even need to talk about it in a complicated way. You just talk about it in a simple way. They successfully got into PT school. Then they successfully graduated. They didn't have any administrative experience, no degrees. They weren't they weren't like professional counselors. They weren't. They simply said, we can start talking about this. They got to over 3,000 members in the group. Their entire business now runs from this Facebook group. Same thing as Jeremy. I have a Facebook group. I ask them what they want. They tell me what they want, and I create it for them. It makes this process so easy. This is Joseph and Casey. Now they've helped over 100 students get accepted into DPT programs because they stepped into the realization that I just need to be 1 to 2 steps ahead, and then I'll start acting. I want you to really think about it for yourself. Who are you, honestly, 1 to 2 steps ahead of that you could start helping? A really, really good insight to this is to start thinking about what have you spent money on in the past, or what do you see others spending money on to get help with? And you're like, what? Why are you paying for that? Like, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of expertise that you have that comes natural to you because of your gifts that other people find absolutely astounding. Like, that they would just say, oh my, what? You could do that? That's amazing. And you take it for granted because you keep bearing your gifts. You keep knocking yourself down, saying, that's not a big deal. Like, no, that's easy. No. Like, you're knocking yourself down so much, preventing yourself from having an impact on people because of this negative self-talk that you keep falling into. And so we're encouraging you to just stop thinking that you're not an expert enough yet to start helping others, and instead embrace the idea that you are 1 to 2 steps ahead. If you can believe that you are 1 to 2 steps ahead, just put, I believe. If you can assume that right now, that you are 1 to 2 steps ahead of someone who is waiting for your help. Literally, they're waiting for it. Just put, I believe, because I can guarantee you that you have something inside of you right now that you're 1 to 2 steps ahead of somebody else who's actively searching right now. They're in other Facebook groups posting about it. They're on YouTube searching for it. They're on Google searching for it. And if you're here in the consumer mindset and you're just like, great, how can I keep consuming? How can I keep consuming? How can I keep consuming? We're going to stop that. We're going to start producing. Jordan and Max, same thing. Facebook marketing strategies for physical therapists. Sorry, Will. We're blazing through here because we're fast approaching the hour mark that we promised people. But we're on this train, y'all. They took online marketing courses. They watched YouTube videos. How many magazines had they been featured in? Publications? Nope. Were they were they PT clinic owners themselves? Nope. Simply started talking about it. They took a complex thing that a lot of people saw as complex, make it simple. And they started opening their mouths through a Facebook group. They used a couple of strategies that we taught them to get people in the group, to get people engaged in the group, and get people talking and giving them feedback. And they create a community where now they can serve hundreds and hundreds of clinic owners, and that fuels their business. So cool to see. You don't have, stop pretending that you're waiting for someone to give you permission to be the expert that you could be right now, simply by helping people you're 1 to 2 steps ahead of.
Yeah. And I've got news for you, which is most of us are here because we learned from someone who is only 1 to 2 steps ahead of us.
Yep.
The You know, like most of our teachers aren't nominated for the world's best teacher of the year award. Has anyone worked under, like when you were in high school, did any of you have the national best teacher of the year that taught you? Like, can you honestly say that they had the distinction of being voted or determined as the number one teacher in that certain thing? Can you say that? Yes or no? Did you have that person? Yes or no? I didn't. I never had a designated number one expert teacher in high school teach me something. Not one. But we all made it here. All right, Alex, let's get into line number 3 so we can keep this under
Line number three. I can't do this with all the tech that is involved. I'm not even going to ask here because I know y'all are overwhelmed with this stuff and y'all are making it so much more complicated than you should. Guess what you need to create a Facebook group and to have a thriving community? There's one tool. It's called your phone. You already have it. You're good. Okay. Stop getting overwhelmed with stuff. Here's why you get overwhelmed with stuff. It's called shiny object syndrome. And you keep seeing people saying, this is this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and it's going to take all this stuff. Like, everyone's trying to make you think that their tool is the one that's the technology that you need. And then it's like, well, I need to put all these things together, and I need funnels, and I need email integration. I need this, and I need this, and I need this. You don't need all that stuff, especially starting off. In fact, it's going to slow you way down from serving people. So instead, we want to show you a couple people who've done a really good job at just focusing on one thing, creating a community within their Facebook group. And from that, they're impacting people. From that, they're creating businesses. From that, they're making massive waves in the world because they're focusing on one thing up front. Then once you master that one thing, sure, you can expand. Are we using software at this point in our business? Of course. But guess what? It doesn't start with all the bells and whistles of every software under the sun. And it doesn't take intense, crazy technical skills to have success in this. Anyone who is in Impact Academy right now, who's in our program, like, can you just tell me how technically crazy can you just please tell, is it simple to operate your Facebook group from a technical standpoint? Like, I know there's little things here and there of like, hey, make sure you do this on Facebook. Make sure you do this. But like, it's pretty darn simple. Candace says, very. Yes, y'all made it easy, says Carissa. Thank you all. It's simple stuff. Well, let's talk about Karen for a minute here because she's just doing such a good job with it. Maybe, should I show her a picture? Do you have a picture in here? Let's see. Yes, here she is.
Yeah, this is Karen. So Karen is one of our students too. She went through Impact Academy. She is the creator of the Stroke Movers group, where she's helping hundreds of people recover from strokes. And she does everything through her Facebook group. She even runs, she has a few paid programs now, and all of them go through a Facebook group. Literally, no, I don't even know if she has a website. I don't think she does. It is all just through her Facebook group. How many of you are involved in Facebook groups? If you're watching this right now, like if you are live and you have not participated yet, I'm going to call you out because we are huge believers in being active in your life and not being passive. And this is the big thing right now, that if there's one thing that beyond everything else, I know I said earlier there was one thing, but this is truly the one thing that I would say, that if there's nothing else from all of this, is the reason we are not where we want to be in life is because we are being more passive in our lives than we are being active. How many of you are waiting for business to come to you and hoping that life will happen to you, versus how many of you are going out there and actively taking what you want from life, going after and demanding that life give to you what it is that you want? If you feel like you've been more active in your life or more passive in your life the last 30 days, please let us know. Has it been more active or more passive? Because I promise you that so many of us are being so passive. Why do you want to focus on your website? Why do you want to focus on sending emails? Why do you want to focus on so many things? Because you want to avoid the one thing that can truly move you forward, which is being active in your life and having conversations with the ideal people that you want to work with, who can change your life and you can change their lives. What I love about Karen is Karen said, you know what? I'm not having a ton of people in my local community reaching out to me asking for help recovering from strokes. And Karen could have said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to keep waiting and hoping. Luckily, Karen didn't. And she came to us and she said, I need to do something about this. So she started a Facebook group. And now within several months, it's up to 210 members where she gets to daily help people who are recovering from strokes. She doesn't sit there and she doesn't wait and hope that someone fills out a form on her website. And I think websites are great, but she doesn't sit there and she doesn't just wait and hope. How many of you are sitting there and hoping and waiting that someone will opt into your website? That if I just make some tweaks on my website, something will happen. If you've been guilty of that, comment me. I've been guilty of this. Comment me if you've been guilty of this. If I just change more things, if I just change the language and make some more tweaks, that things will happen to me in life. Alex and I have a business that has set us both on a financially free path from a Facebook group. That's it. And we did not have a website for well over 2 years. We didn't have a YouTube channel for 1.5 years. We didn't even have an Instagram for well over a year, if not 1.5 years. We had one thing, and that one thing built community. And the biggest reason why you aren't doing the thing that you need to do, which is building a community of your ideal people, and I'm getting direct and I'm getting harsh because I love you guys so much and I just see this and we coach this every single day, is that you're nervous about being active in your life and being proactive and doing the thing that is necessary, which is having conversations with the people that you want to work with, even when they're not ready to have the conversation with you. Does that make sense? If you've been putting life on hold and focusing on websites and focusing on all these things that are totally passive, and you know that's you, and you know that it's burying your gift from helping people in the world, I want you to put right now, I want you to put in the comment that I admit that I have been putting off showing up with my gift into the world as much as I possibly can. I want you to put, I admit, just put the words, I admit, if you see that you have been putting off your gift to the world by hiding behind the facade of these things that are going to passively impact your life. You have to realize that you have the power to focus on one thing, to solve a problem for one group of people, and to be the leader. And a leader doesn't have to be the expert. The leader has to be the guide. Your gift in life right now is to show up as the leader and the guide. When you don't know the answer, you say, I don't know the answer. I'm going to go find that for you. Instead, you're worried about being perfect. And what I love about Karen is that Karen doesn't worry about being perfect. Karen worries about showing up every single day consistently for her people and having conversations. I've never met someone so passionate about having as many conversations as possible as Karen. Have you, Alex?
Oh, she's just killing it. I think if we look at this, we start to realize that it's been inside of you all along. Can any of us deny that it's been inside of us all along? It's been sitting there inside of you, waiting for you to wake up and actually go after what it is that you want. It's been inside of you. And we've been hiding behind these passive things that feel like progress when it's still just setting up a box for someone to come give us a handout. Like ultimately, we're in the business, Will and I, of making people take action that makes them a little bit uncomfortable, but moves them forward in their life by forcing them to be active. That's why we feel so strongly about the communities that we build within our programs. Because we want you to be active. We want you to stop hiding behind, yay, guys, I did the thing. Like I have my website's ready. It's like, great, the website's ready. Now, what are you going to go do to find people? Are you just going to wait for them to search for you on Google? Yeah, but the SEO. Yeah, what conversations are you having? What are you doing to put yourself out there consistently? So tonight's about breaking these patterns of being passive in your life. Tonight is about breaking these patterns of waiting for the break to come to you and instead going to freaking make it happen. for you so that when crazy times happen, like right now, we're not stuck here thinking, shoot, why didn't I prepare myself earlier? Instead, we feel like I am actively going after everything I possibly can in life. For me, I look at the end of my life as I'm sitting there looking back. I'm asking myself, how much did I get out of my comfort zone to move towards what I really, really wanted? And if what I really, really wanted seemed hard and it seemed like, I'd rather just sit back and retract. I can't imagine meeting myself in the future, looking at the version of myself that took action on things, looking at myself, the version of myself that took risks, looking at the version of myself that put himself out there versus the version of myself that went with the comfortable route, versus the version of myself that said, no, I'll settle, versus the version of myself that says, mediocrity is okay. And that's why people like Karen, people like Jeremy, people like Jordan Max, people like Liz, people fire me up because they're actively moving towards what they want in life. And this is the last one I want to share. I think this is our last one to share tonight. David Bailiff. Y'all know Captain Bailiff. If you're in the physical therapy world, you might know of him. This dude is, I'm just going to show you his picture. Look at this guy. I love this guy. This dude has kept things simple. This dude has kept things straightforward, and he keeps showing up for his people over and over again. And this third lie is about overcomplicating with tech. Well, guess what? David hasn't overcomplicated with tech at all. In fact, he's built a business out of being able to serve people over the phone and literally sends them an invoice every month. Like, he's not using any crazy technical tools. At the end of the day, though, he's showing up consistently for people. He stepped into the role of being a leader. And now he's able to build a community of people who's literally shifting the entire future of his profession, physical therapy, by helping people to establish a mobile business. Like, literally shifting the entire future of a profession because he decided to put himself out there, because he didn't let himself get stuck by technology, because he just did it. He just figured it out.
Real quick. I know we're out of time. Real quick.
You're good.
If you've ever been impacted by David, the captain, if you're a physical therapist and you know of David, if you've ever been impacted by David himself, or if you've been in the Mobile PT League and you have gotten content that has really helped you with your business, either he or Josh together, just say me. Say me. If you have ever been impacted by David, by being in his Facebook group, by he and Josh together. He helped me leave my job, says Kelly. Me, says people. Me. If you're not in the physical therapy world, David is amazing. He helps people start concierge practices. Here's the cool thing. You want to know why this is so important to me? And I'm getting teary kind of watching this, is we got to meet David at a conference 2 years ago. David did not have a Facebook group then. And David said, I need to do something. I just don't know how. I'm not good with tech. He said something like, I don't even know how to get into the grams of Insta or something. He was saying some weird stuff that I was like, I'm not even sure what you're talking about. Alex and I sat down with David and we told him you need to start a Facebook group. 2 years ago, we told David he should start a Facebook group. And we helped show him how to do it in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. If you've been impacted by David, which you just all said, yeah, think about that story. Where would you be? Kelly, who said he helped you leave your job. Would you still be stuck in your job if David hadn't started that group? Because he didn't let the tech part scare him. He allowed Alex and I to show him in 20 minutes how to get started. And he's gone on to help hundreds of people start their businesses. He could be hiding under a rock, bearing his gift, communicating with the world. Instead, he's impacted so many of your lives. How many lives are waiting for you to impact theirs? How many lives are out there right now that are not having the impact that they need to have because you're hiding, because you're letting things like tech slow you down? You're letting things like, I'm not an expert. Do you think David got a degree in mobile PT? Honestly, I want you to honestly answer in the comments right now. How many lives do you think are being left out there that are not being helped that are not being changed because you're hiding your gift from the world? Truthfully, answer the question right now in the comments if you can. How many lives do you think are being left on the table that are not being changed because we've been hiding behind this facade of excuses? Kelly, you might be at your job right now hating life. And I don't say that lightly. Too many hundreds, thousands. Carissa has the best answer. Unmeasurable.
Ooh, I love this comment. Wait, they're waiting for me to come out of my shell. Excuses that I'm an introvert and not good enough. Okay. Can we just talk about that for a minute? Introvert is a mindset. Introvert is not a personality type. Introvert is someone who says, here's an opportunity. Now I'm going to back down from it. Instead, we're talking about tonight creating a new mindset for yourself, creating a new identity for yourself, of being an impactor, being someone who, instead of having imposter syndrome, we're creating impactor syndrome. Made that up. But literally, like, look, can I just tell you this is what kind of we really want you to focus on. What you ultimately need to focus on is making an impact in the lives of the people around you. It's not like the whole passive income thing and feeling like there's all these like funnels and other crazy things that you need to set up. Just focus on impact-based marketing right now. That's all you need. If you're starting off right now, you're not where you want to be, just focus on impact marketing, which is really simple. Impact marketing is exactly what David's done. It's exactly what so many of these others have done that we've showed you tonight. It's about showing up imperfectly. It's about saying, you know what? I am not perfect, world. And here I am in all my imperfect glory. And yet, let me tell you about something that you might want to know about. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about blank, and you start talking about it. Guess what? You don't need to be perfect to start making an impact. Will and I love the phrase, imperfect action always beats perfect inaction. Imperfect action. You need a little bit more imperfect action. That's the core of impact marketing. Next, we look at authenticity. You get to be yourself as you're impactfully marketing people. Guess what? You don't have to put on, you don't have to be Will and Alex. You don't have to be David. You don't have to be Liz. You don't have to be anyone else. Impact marketing is about you being you and impacting people because of who you are, because of your stories, because of how you show up. Impact marketing is about being authentic. It's about simply saying, I'm going to show up. Impact marketing is about being focused. It's not about doing one tiny little bit of everything here and there and not moving forward at all. Impact marketing is about getting focused. It's about focusing on one group of people in one place with one problem you can solve that you're just 1 to 2 steps ahead of. That's impact marketing. And for us, that's why we decided when we looked at, after having coached hundreds and hundreds of people to creating audiences online, we looked at what were the commonalities? What are, like, if we were to distill everything out and look at what were the most important things that people needed to do to grow a following online, to make impact online, to start creating community online. And we looked at the hundreds of case studies of people who created audience, the dozens and dozens of dozens who created those audiences and went on to make them businesses. What were those core things that they had to do? If we had to strip away all the fluff and keep it as focused as possible, what would it have to be? And that's ultimately what we want to introduce to you tonight. We call it Impact Academy. There's a lot of people on this live stream right now who are in Impact Academy. A lot of testimonials that we've shared, or stories that we've shared so far in here. But Impact Academy is ultimately a family of people who are just like you. They're growing into their expertise, and they're growing into creating impact together online. And if you're in Impact Academy, like, what would you describe it as? A family, because that's ultimately how Will and I feel about it at this point. And tonight, what we want to show you is just inside of what it looks like to work with Will and I, to be part of Impact Academy, to make an impact online with people who you might not feel like right now you should be impacting. But I can guarantee you, if you're 1 to 2 steps ahead of them, you got to start talking. If you feel like right now, but I'm scared, like I don't know how the tech side of it, I'm not really sure. You got to get over that. It's not nearly as complicated as you're making it out to be. And if you're sitting here right now thinking, yeah, guys, but there's just I'm not sure if it should be YouTube or if it should be Facebook or whatever. Look, I'm telling you, get focused. What we have found in coaching hundreds of people at this point is that a Facebook group is the most potent way to impact the number of people that you need in order to like be able to see that, yes, people need this, but B, to be able to ultimately create a business out of it. And so that's what Impact Academy is. Will, can I screen share Impact Academy here? Can I do this?
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
look. So we don't have like some super fancy presentation here at the end with like, oh, this bonus and this is worth $5,000. We don't do that. We just wanted to show you, like, Will and I actually joke a lot about a lot of standard marketing techniques. And I just want to show you what Impact Academy is like. Okay. If you want, by the way, if you want to sign up here, we're just going to cut to the chase. Impact Academy is a $397 program, $397, or you can split it up into 3 payments of $139. And if you want to be a part of it, you can go to healthyfunnel.com/impact right now. We just want to show you around the program, what it looks like and what it is that we're doing with people. Because Impact Academy for us is about creating a community of people who are all shifting to becoming producers, who are all stepping into being experts by acknowledging that, yeah, I'm 1 to 2 steps ahead of someone, and that's good enough. And you know what? I may not be the world's foremost leading expert, but I do have expertise that I have honed for years. I have a gift inside of me, and I am willing to step out of my comfort zone to share that. It's about creating a group of people who are just planting their flag in the ground saying, I will not accept mediocrity in my life anymore. That's what Impact Academy is about. And we released Impact Academy to a small group of people about 2 months ago, and we were absolutely blown away. We were blown away not just because of what people were accomplishing in there from a results standpoint, but we were blown away because of the family that was instantly created around this. People supporting each other as they're getting vulnerable, doing live streams. People supporting each other as they're doing these Facebook group launches, which is what we teach people to do. And we'll go through like the ins and outs here, but it was so incredible to me to see the level of, yes, there are other people just like you out there who feel the same way, who are pushing for the same things and are willing to support you on the journey. And that's ultimately what Impact Academy is about. So Will, let's talk a little bit about like the logistics of Impact Academy, if that's cool. Oh, Will, thank you for putting that. healthyfun.com/impact.
Yeah, of course. So the truth is, how this program works is we have obviously recorded modules for you that you can go watch through. We take you step by step. How do you start your group? How do you launch your group? That's one of the biggest things. How do you launch your group? And if you have an existing group already, how do I relaunch my group? How do I take a dead group? Okay, relatively dead group. And how do I bring it back to life, right? So you might be thinking, guys, I already have a group. Do I need this? Absolutely, you need this. We take you through the strategies of how to run challenges, how to do giveaways, how to do expert guest interviews within your Facebook group that you can then turn into a podcast for yourself, right? We walk you through how do you actually do a private launch followed by a public launch of your group. Things that you're like, wait, what? There's 2? Yes, there are 2. You don't even know what you don't know right now. These are the things that have taken people from literally 20 member launches to 200 member launches, learning just 2 or 3 simple tactics that we teach in the program. And then, so you get all of that, and then we teach you how do you actually grow your group? What are the continued strategies for growing your group? How many people actually have a group right now? If you're still on here, if you're on here right now, do you have a group? Yes or no? Yes or no if you have a Facebook group already. We'd love to know. Yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Oh man, we're like 50-50. I'm in them. Yes, no, I know I need one. And you got to have one, right? We teach you how to start your group, how to optimize it, how to grow it, how to launch it, how to then explode your group of your ideal people. We walk you through the secret sauce that does not require any paid advertising, that does not require any of this like go MLM spam your friends and family type marketing. We teach you holistic ways to grow your group. Alex, what else do we do in Impact Academy?
Impact Academy is about just helping you get out of your shell, honestly. Like, the very first assignment actually is when you join Impact Academy, we have you get out of your comfort zone immediately, but within a safe space where we allow you to be able to feel the community rallying around you. And it really is about stepping into being a producer rather than a consumer. And we give you it's a roadmap. It's the step-by-step. What do you need to do each day to prepare for, launch, and then grow a Facebook group? And oh man, are these going to even load? I don't know. Let's see if they even load. We just uploaded 20. We asked people who were in this first go round. We didn't launch publicly. Oh man, maybe they'll load. Maybe they won't. Of course, don't you love when technology just fails you? Actually, they're unavailable. Thanks a lot, YouTube. Well, we have 25 people on here who have created for us like what their feeling of Impact Academy was as they went through it. And it just blew us away. It blew us away. People were launching their groups. People are growing Impact. And they're having fun with it. At the end of the day, we pride ourselves on making things simple, clear to follow, and helping to keep you focused. And I guess I just want to end with this, since we're like pretty much to the end. I want to end with showing you, what does it look like? What have the experiences of people who've been in Impact Academy look like? And then we want to sit here and answer questions for a few minutes too, as you guys are thinking through, man, is this for me? Is this the right time? What do I need to get going? I want to share here. I want to share my sound so that y'all can actually hear this. I want to share, we had a fun little mashup video made today, talking about highlighting a couple experiences of people who have been in here and looking at what is the essence of, for us, Impact Academy. So we're going to share this.
My social presence, my understanding of social media was,
I had started some online videos and educational resources for families and things like that.
I had a social media presence already, but I didn't quite understand all the algorithms and all the tools to the trade.
It was never growing, and I just kind of gave up on it. It was like, it just doesn't work.
I was at my wit's end. I was so frustrated. I was really depressed, and I've been working so hard, literally working probably 16 hours a day.
And I want you to know that's why you're here, because you're looking for different answers.
I don't care if you get confused with websites, pixels, opt-ins. Why is it that suddenly when a phone gets put in front of us, it's like there's not a person on the other end of this? Because there is. So talk to people like you would talk to people if they were in front of you.
just know what you're going to ask before you even ask it.
These guys are gentlemen. They're good at what they do. They are reliable. They're friendly. They're approachable. They're knowledgeable. They are the best.
I 100% highly recommend Will and Alex for anything social media related, online presence related. They're phenomenal. They're two amazing people, and I trust them with all of my businesses.
I love learning from Alex and Will. It's been really, really good.
It does not take perfection to run a business.
It's that we had to get courageous to do the thing that we didn't want to do.
My group started last week. It's been open for a week. I'm almost at 200 members.
And as of today, March 13th, we are on our way to 700 members.
It's around 400 members and growing it by 700 and we're growing it to 740 people. And that's just been in a couple of months.
We had over 1,200 responses and comments, which is absolutely incredible.
In less than 6 hours, I think I had over 300 views, and I think I had at least 50 people request to become part of the group.
Figure out what it is that you want, what it is that you lack, and who can take you there fastest. Thank you guys. We love you.
Hey, that was fun. Will, I think that's the first time you've seen that, right?
Yeah, that might have gotten a little emotional.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to David Cardellano, by the way, for making a sweet mashup for us. But this is Impact Academy, y'all. And it's something that is the foundation of how do you grow online. Was that fun, by the way? If that was fun, just put fun in the comments. I had fun watching that today. We got so many responses from people who had great experiences in Impact Academy. We asked David if he could sort of like fit the essence of that all into one video, and he cranked that out for us in like 2 days. I can't believe it. I
want to ask real quick. Whoa. Echo.
You good?
Oh man. Oh no, I'm like.
Okay, how about now? We good?
Am I good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm not echoing. Whoa, that was
crazy. Sorry, it was sharing computer audio. So
that was crazy.
Double time.
So I want to ask, we have 31 people on here right now, and I think we've got 17 more on Facebook watching this right now. I want to ask you personally, what is your life going to be like if you don't get out of this rock that you've been hiding under? I really want you to take a minute. We have 51 people, or 48. I can't do math very well. 31 plus 17. 48 people on here right now. And I really want you to think for a second, what is my life going to be like if I do not get out of these shackles that are holding me back, if I do not get around people who are going to help elevate me and push me out of this comfort zone, if you do not step out of your comfort zone, if you do not surround yourself with the people who are going to give you the opportunity to elevate yourself, do you think that your life is going to change? I want you to be honest with yourself. Alex and I have had to do this in our past. We still do this to this day, and be honest with ourselves. Are we pushing ourselves to the maximal limit that we can to make an impact in this world? And I really would love to ask you an honest answer right now. When you get to the rocking chair of your life, at the end of your life, are you going to worry about what other people think about you? Or are you going to worry about, did I do enough? And did I live and give the gift that I know that I've been given in this life? And did I do everything that I possibly could to share that with the world? Do you think that you're going to look back and you are going to care about what other people thought about you if you went for it, if you failed? Or are you going to care about, did I do the thing that I knew I needed to do for me, that I've been given this gift in life, and I have the ability to share it with the world, but I was too afraid of letting excuses hold me back? Things like technology, things like fear of, what if I'm not good enough? Things of like, but I don't know how to put myself out there. Are you going to let those things continue to hold you back in life? Alex and I are not going to be changed by whether we get 100 people in this program or 10. I know that there are hundreds, if not thousands of lives, if not tens of thousands to millions of lives out there that will not be changed if you continue to hide under the rock that your gift has been hiding under. I want you to see that you have to put yourself into a community, whether that's with us, someone else. You have to put your energy into being a part of a community that is going to level you up, that's going to take you there. I beg of you, don't let life pass you by. Don't let the temptation of being passive in life hold you back from becoming the active person in your life that goes and is able to take what it is that you want, demand of life what it is that you want. If you don't do that, there are people right now that are in assisted living facilities right now, that are in nursing homes right now, that are more afraid of the things they didn't do than of any kind of virus that's out there right now. I promise you, they're more worried about the things that they didn't do, that they know they should have done in life, than the things that are impacting their circumstances right now. Do you agree or disagree? There are a lot of illnesses in life, but I can tell you doing home health for 1.5 years taught me the greatest lesson that I could have ever learned. Regret is the slowest, most painful death of all time. And I watched so many older folks with great hearts. I always ask them, if you could do, like, what is it that you're really like you miss in life? And they can tell you the things that they didn't do almost more often than they can tell you the things that they did do. And they don't tell you about the times that they tried to go for something and they failed. They take pride in that. They tell you about the sadness that they have for the person they let get away, for the business opportunity they never took a chance on, for the thing that they knew deep in their heart that they were born to do. They had a gift to give and they didn't give it. And whether that's with us or whether that's somewhere else in your life, you have to face that. Please, from the bottom of my heart, go give your gift to the world. Alex, I saw we had some questions come in.
Ooh.
Want to toss
Thank
it?
you, Will. My goodness, everyone. Let's thank Will for speaking some life into us. My goodness. I want to address the questions that are coming in here because y'all have great questions. And I got a couple of them. Kelly said, if I'm trying to get an online product out right now on Kajabi, how much time does this take a week to really get started and make an impact? So we recommend Impact Academy is a self-paced program. That means if you got time right now to binge it and apply it, you can binge it and apply it. And if you're like, no, I need like a little bit every day kind of thing, cool. We recommend 4 to 6 weeks to get through the entire program. It's not a long one. And from a daily time commitment, I would say if you can realistically spend 15 minutes, 5 days a week on Impact Academy, like you should be good. It's really about dialing in your Facebook personal profile. It's about creating content on there to be able to get in front of people. It's about how do we find the people to get in front of in the first place and adding them to our audience. And then it's about launching the Facebook group and keeping the Facebook group engaged. And that does take some time to be able to create content, to be able to create the group. That's going to take some time. But we recommend somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes, 5 days a week. What does that end up being? A couple hours a week, realistically, to implement. And again, it's something where if you're like, nah, I got to get this out right now, I really recommend that you spend about 2 weeks to do a proper Facebook group launch. That's if you've been putting out some content. If you're starting from absolute scratch, then you give yourself a little bit more time. That's totally fine. But Kelly, if you're like right now, hey, I've got something on Kajabi, I got to get it out. How much time is it going to take? I would ask you the question that I proposed at the very beginning, which is, who's going to buy from you? Do those people trust you? Do they know who you are? And can we afford not to spend that time? That's the real question is, oh, how many people do you want to buy from you? Like if we want a couple, if we want our mom and our great aunt Sally to buy from us, then like, heck yeah, launch it right now. Otherwise, do you have an audience somewhere else that it's engaged with you, that when you post stuff out, you can interact with, you can start conversations with? This is why Facebook is such a great place to do it, because we can start at the bite-sized chunk of, hey, are you interested? And then we can move to the conversation if we need to. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's, do you have the people who are going to buy from you in the first place? So I never, ever recommend that people launch a product without really having their audience in place first. Because you could have the best course in the world. If there aren't people to sell it to that have told you that they want it, and we don't have an audience to be able to reach out to in the first place, we can't sell. Like we might have an initial burst of a couple people, and then what? Right. And so I want you to think long-term, Kelly, who do I sell to? And over and over and over again, whether it's on Kajabi or ClickFunnels or you don't use any software, we got to ask ourselves, where are the people that I'm going to sell to? And it can't be in somebody else's group. It can't be to somebody else's audience. We got to own our audience. So this is us stepping into ownership of our impact rather than trying to borrow impact from somebody else and make that a long-term strategy. I hope that makes sense.
This is perfect. We got some other questions. Kari says, I'm really excited to start. However, what if I don't have my group idea narrowed down yet? Can this group also help with that as I go through it? Kari, we actually have an entire lesson dedicated on how do you choose your group? How do you choose the niche that you should be doing? So we actually let you assess, like, is my idea too broad or is it too narrow? What's the right range? We actually have an entire lesson just dedicated to understanding what your niche is there for. Like, what is the ideal size of a niche? And so the answer to that, Kari, is yes. And also, by the way, we didn't even tell you, on Tuesdays, every single Tuesday, we have the one and only Liz Cook, who has grown her mountain biking ladies group to 3,000 plus members and now has a membership group. Out of that group, she goes live every Tuesday at noon Eastern and talks about Impact Academy and walks you through the process. And that's what the whole group is for, to be able to answer those questions. Before we answer a few more questions, I just got to ask you this because this is really important. For all of you that are out there right now, I love asking this question. It's so hits home to me, and I think it's so important. And why Impact Academy is the most important thing. We have another program called Launch Code, by the way, which is all about how do you launch your online product or program or service, which we always get people to go, oh, that's the one I want. Yeah. I want to make an online program. I want to stop trading time for money. Cool. We get it. There's only one way that you can stop trading time for money. And that is you have enough people that are willing to give you money in replace of your time. How many of you have enough people that are willing to do that right now? Because if you don't, you cannot stop trading time for money. Guess who doesn't stop trading time for money? Me and Alex right now. You got to keep working, right? We're on our way there. But here's the thing. Here's why this is so important. If you had to decide what actually has money, ideas and products or people, Really ask yourself this question. What has money? Ideas and products or people?
Put it
I
in the
would love
comments,
to
by
know
the
the
way.
answer from you guys. What do you think has money? Ideas and products or people? We got some smart people on here. People have money. Guess what? Your products, your ideas don't have money. It doesn't matter how good they are. They're never going to exchange money with you. Everyone wants this, right? Everyone wants this. Here's the reality. And here's why we created Impact Academy is you need this in order to exchange your product and service with. If you don't have this, you're going to be spending months, years trying to shove your product down the face of the few people who are in your existing world. Does that make sense? We didn't put this together because it was like, oh, what, Alex, what's the greatest thing that we could do for people right now that would make us stop trading time for money? No, that's not what we believe in. We believe that what is the thing that you need to learn right now? What we learned is that most people do not have an existing audience of their ideal customers, clients, and people that they want to serve. And if you don't work on growing that, if you don't work on building that, I don't care how good your product is. I don't care how amazing your service is. I don't care how brilliant your idea is. You are not going to have anyone to exchange money with you down the road. You can have a Prada store in the desert. Guess how many people are buying? You can have an Apple store at the toppest peak of the tallest mountain that no one can access. And guess how many people are buying? I'd rather take the crappiest product in the middle of a downtown market because at least I have access to people and I can start learning about what it is their problems are. What is it that they want? What do they desire in life? So many of us don't even communicate correctly with the group of people we already have access to. If you're not sold yet on Impact Academy, I'm not sure what I can do beyond this other than to say that you need to go sign up right now and you need to go to healthyfunnel.com/impact. Look, if you feel like this was worthwhile, if you feel like this hour and a half was worthwhile, imagine every single week getting Alex and I, just getting you out of your own shell, getting you out of your own way. What would that mean for you? Like legitimately, what would it do for your life if you had guys like Alex and I every single week just telling you to stop thinking and start doing? If you are not ready to make that commitment, you need to go find somewhere to make that commitment for yourself. And I'm dead serious. As someone who used to just consume and never produce, I've now looked at podcasts. I didn't know how to make a podcast. I didn't have any expertise on making a podcast. I wasn't even an expert as the host of the podcast. All I did was go interview other people who were experts. Because I made that podcast, I've now taught over 30 other people how to make podcasts. Those podcasts have gone on to be downloaded over 1 million times. I don't say that to brag. I say that I don't know anything. I watched a YouTube video on how to make a podcast. And then I watched an interview of how do you interview people. And the next thing you know, over 4 years later, over 1 million people have been impacted. The ripple effect. And the only thing that kept me from doing that sooner is that I didn't have a group of people to help me get out of my own freaking way. Instead, I kept telling the lies in my head. I'm not good enough. I'm not an expert enough. I don't know how to do this. And it took me to have $155,000 of student loan debt to see that bill of $1,100 a month to feel enough of the pain to say, you know what? I have to do something about this. And I don't know what that pain is for you, but I hope it doesn't come out to be $155,000 of student loan debt. And the fear of being trapped in a job because of the anxiety and depression that I have had to deal with for a decade, and I'm totally open about, and I've been able to manage because I've been able to create a life for myself, working with this incredible guy, Alex Ingar, in front of me. And I had to do something about it because otherwise I was going to be trapped working at a job that was going to tell me where to be, when to be, every single day of my life. And the anxiety in me, the person who's prone to depression in me, said, I don't know where to start, but I've got to go find a group of people who have the lives that I want. That led me to Greg Todd. That led me to Alex. Oh, by the way, all of that inside of a Facebook group called Smart Success Physical Therapy. I don't want that for you. If you don't want to get Impact Academy, totally understand. Go find a group of people that you need. If you're sitting here right now and you're wondering, what should I do? There's still 23 of you on here, and there's 17 of you on Facebook. Tell me, what do we got? Will, what do we got to do to help you right now? That's what I want to know. What do we need to do to help you?
All right. Question is, answer this specifically right now, because you're staying on here. You're welcome to leave. But we want, for those who are like, I'm really curious, I really want to do it. What's keeping you right now from being like, yeah, I'm ready to go? Put it in the comment. It could be a question. It could be a I got to figure it out. We got a couple questions here though that I want to make sure we answer. I'm only drawing personal friends on my Facebook comment. How do I draw my target audience? Well, that's exactly what Impact Academy is. It's how do we get outside of our shell and expand our circle of influence. And then once we have expanded our circle of influence, we launch a Facebook group to build a community, and that's called Impact Academy. If you want to know that, that's exactly the step-by-step process in Impact Academy that we go through. Like that's how it is. But we got to get outside of our immediate little bubble and our immediate circle of comfort in order to be able to impact more people. Okay. We said, let's see, we had someone else out here ask, okay, I'm worried that I will be offering, by the way, from Jennifer. Thank you for this question, Jennifer. I'm worried that I'll be offering medical advice via Facebook. Is that okay? What do I need to know about this? Oh, Will, we've had this conversation so many times in the past 3, 4, 5, 6 months with people. It's been really interesting to talk to experts about this too, hasn't it? Like,
so the big thing here is, Jennifer, one of the coolest things that we can do is in the beginning is you set rules. So it's a private group, and that we teach you how to set up a private group. And part of your rules is that when people agree, they hit a little checkbox that I understand. And one of the things that they say that they agree and understand to is that you are not providing medical information or medical advice, and that this should not be taken as medical advice. And they are checking off that they understand. And that is essentially your consent form. And we have had guests come on, experts do master classes in our program Launch Code, where we have them break down what is the language that has to be in there. And we share that with you. Here's what you need to put in there. This is not medical advice. And that covers your bases, right? Now, obviously you're gonna have to, navigate on your own throughout time without being irresponsible, and you need to know your State Practice Act if you're gonna be doing things like telehealth services from it. But that's out of the realm of Impact Academy. The realm of Impact Academy is how do I grow, how to do things. If you're ready to start making money, that's where Launch Code comes in, which is our program that teaches you. So Julie, how do you make money after building your community? That is the $1 million question, right? Actually, the $1 million question is how do I actually grow a community? Because that's where the $1 million lies, is in your community. After that, that's where we have Launch Code, which is all about how do you create programs, products, services for your existing community. So that would come after you build your community.
We didn't even talk about, by the way, there's a bunch of bonuses that we've thrown into the Impact Academy, where if you're wondering, yeah, well, what do I actually say once I make the darn group, once I'm growing people, how do I figure out what they want? We have a program called 27 Questions that is every single question we've ever asked in our Facebook group, every poll that we've asked in our Facebook group that guided us to figure out what is it that people want. What's the content that we need to create? Does our messaging resonate? And so we include 27 questions with that. We include Will's podcasting course, which is how do I take the content that I'm producing in my Facebook group and then repurpose that to be able to put into a podcast. Will, I believe it's 0 to 48 hours, the Facebook group launch. Is that right?
It's normally a $200 course that I sell, and it takes you how to get your podcast started from literally scratch. You don't have to pay a single dime to get your podcast up and on iTunes and Spotify within 48 to 72 hours. I walk you through the exact process. What do you need? Hint, phone, computer, right? How do you make your first episode? I give you the scripts. How do you interview people? I teach you exactly how to interview people, right? I teach you how do you go find guests. I literally walk you through my entire process that's led me to, I've now done podcasts for over 3 years. And we've gone on to have well over 200,000 downloads on our podcast. I teach you the exact things that you need to know in that course. They're just throwing it in for people, because what you can do is when you interview people in your group, which by the way is one of the strategies we're going to teach you of how to grow your group, is to do interviews in your group with experts, because you don't have to be the expert at everything. And they're going to bring some of their community over to your group. And guess what? That interview that you do in Zoom on this thing that we're using right now, which is free, you are going to then be able to download that audio and put it up onto a podcast. And it took you all of 10 more minutes to do.
Easy peasy. We also have something that we call the content factory, which is when you're not sure what you should put up. How many of you worry about what kind of content you should be creating out there? Like, just put me, if you've ever worried, like, I don't know if I can come up with content. Please, please, please. We have something called the content factory, which is our 8 strategies for how we come up with content on the fly. And we're at the point now, we're like, I don't even plan out content. I just sit down and I think, what do the people need today? And we just create that. But early on, I remember I was about to start a blog, and I remember they're like 100 ideas for content. And I was like, I can't come up with 100 ideas for content. Are you kidding me? Well, over time, we've gotten really, really good at coming up with content on the fly, both for ourselves and for our clients, over and over and over. And there are these 8 different strategies that we use. Actually, one of them is from a guy who is on here right now, Rich Finlinson. If you're still on here, shout out to Rich. Rich has a really cool method that makes it so you get 26 pieces of content in a very short amount of time. That's one of them. Shout out to Rich. But there's 8 strategies. It's like, here's how to come up with content. Boom, 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 boom. We teach you in Impact Academy. There's really only 3 kinds of content. There's really only 3 kinds of content. And if you understand those 3 kinds of content, it becomes very easy to know what to say, when to say it, and what type of post it needs to be. Like it's just so, it makes it so easy. Do you still have to put in work? Of course. This is impacting people. What do y'all think? We're just going to get impacted by sitting back and watching Netflix? No. Like if you're going to be somebody worth following, you're going to have to do some work here. And that, like Will and I will be the first to tell you, this is not like you just sit back on vacation and all of a sudden you have hundreds of people following you. That's not how this stuff works. But if you want to be remembered, if you want to be worth following, if you want to have an impact, you're going to have to do some work, but you're going to have to do the right work. Like how much time right now, how much time do you think you could spend trying to Google and watch YouTube videos and like listen to podcasts? How many hours over the next year do you think you would spend trying to figure out the right social media strategies? Maybe the answer to the question is how much have you spent in the past year trying to figure it out? I want to know, how much time do you think you would need to spend over the next year if you didn't join Impact Academy? I'm just saying, how much time would you spend trying to figure out what your social media strategy should be? I would put it in hours down here. Do you think you're going to spend 10 hours? Do you think you're going to spend 30 hours? Do you think you're going to spend 60 hours listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, trying to figure it out? Maybe 2 years, right? Like how long are you going to wait before you figure out how to do this? We figured it out. We cracked the code over and over and over and over. And the 25 people who gave us raving reviews from this last go round will tell you we've got it down to a science. And we keep it short. We keep it simple. You go in, you watch the module, you implement. You come back and you get feedback from the group. On days when you're feeling down, you talk about that. Hey, y'all, had a really rough day. What advice do you have? Boom, the community rallies around you. Hey, y'all, I did then you go in and share your wins. And then when you're ready to get your launches done, like you share, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you guys think? Hey, I'm thinking about this image. What do you think? Like it's so
here's the reality too is even if you spend all that time, the coolest thing to me is even if you spend all that time and you learn all that, guess who's going to be the one person to hold you back from moving forward? You can learn all the information. All of you guys have so much information already. And I got news for you. The one person that's going to hold you back is you. And you got to get around people who are not going to allow you to settle and be passive in your life. And I don't mean like your mom and your dad or your brother or sister who kind of is like, yeah, no, it's great. Go for it. Do it. No, I mean people who are like, look, I did this thing. I felt super uncomfortable and I was scared and I did it. And now look at where I'm at on the other side. And if you don't have that in your life, I can tell you, I didn't have that in my life for a decade. And in the last 4 years, now that I've had it, I can't even, like my future is like, I couldn't have even imagined if you had told me 5 years ago that I would not be treating full-time in a clinic, working for someone else, making 60 to 80 grand a year and just slaving away 50 to 70 hours a week for them. But instead, I would be sitting at my computer at 10:15 on a Tuesday night, loving what I'm doing and not even worried about having to go to bed. And I can sit here and talk to people. I would have laughed at you and said, that's so ridiculous. No, I spent all this money to get a doctorate degree. I'm not going, and there's no way that I'd be doing that on Tuesday night talking to people about social media and online marketing. And yet here we are, because I surrounded myself with people who told me to shut up, told me to get out of my own head, told me to just push forward and do the dang thing. And that's what you need. Like, all the tactics aside, we have all the tactics. I deploy them every single day on my personal profile, in my Facebook group. I do it every single day to this day. I'm not stopping for the next few years at least. And it takes me a good 5 minutes a day to do. That's it. I don't have anything else to say, Alex. I will put this out here to you. I think we got a question, but I will put this out here to you. If you're watching this right now, and if there's any reason that you're on the fence, all you got to do is shoot me a voice message in Facebook. Let me know what you're thinking, what's on your mind, and I will answer in the next 24 to 48 hours. If you just shoot me a voice message of what's on your mind. If you're already in, great, we'll talk there. If you're on the fence right now and you're like, oh, I just don't know, like something's holding me back, I will be completely honest with you in a voice message. Hopefully you've gotten that from me here. Like, I used to just be like, yeah, I want to just help you. Like, my job right now is to help you get out of your own way. If I feel like you need to get out of your own way, I will let you know and I will tell you. If I feel like it's not the right thing for you, I will let you know as well. So all you got to do is shoot me a voice message on Facebook of what you're struggling with, questions you have, concerns you have. I'd be happy to do that. I don't want to take too much more of anyone's time because we've laid out what we need to lay out. I think there's one more question. Justin said, would you recommend taking this course with Digital Income School, or should I just focus on the first and then move forward? Justin, honestly, I think this would be great. Depending on who you are working with, Digital Income School teaches you the skills of business. And that's a whole separate thing. I don't even think it's worth, Justin, I'll answer that in a private message because that's sort of side related and we can talk about that, but don't need to worry about it now.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. I honestly, we wrap this up at, we're just under the 2-hour mark. All right. I want to say thank you all for those who've been on here. Was this helpful? Please comment helpful if so below. Just comment helpful. And I would just challenge you, if you're like, I got to think about it. Well, like, what's left to think about? either make a decision, like just make a decision for yourself. Those who are decisive end up taking more action. And Will and I have had to learn as business owners to become decisive. And when I find something that I want now, I say yes, and I get it. And when I find something that I don't, I say no, and I move on. I would highly encourage you to be decisive in your decision-making. Is that redundant or not? But be decisive. And at the end of the day, you know that if you get an Impact Academy with us, we're going to take great care of you. We always do with our people. And we just are grateful for the time that you've spent here tonight. If nothing else, I hope that you have come away with the reality that you are ready right now to start serving people. The fastest way to grow impact online right now is through a Facebook group. And it does not take a lot of tech to make it happen. If you want step-by-step guidance for how to do that, if you want all of the strategies that we use to show all of the people that you saw on the screen tonight, join Impact Academy, healthyfunnel.com/impact. We will see you in there. Guys, this has been an amazingly fun live stream tonight. Thank you all so much. Will, thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. We'll see y'all later. Bye.